I'm James Rowson, and in Chapter 5, we're going to talk about common hitting flaws. As we begin to talk about common hitting flaws, from young hitters all the way to professional hitters, the aspect of these flaws will change based on strength, size, age, so on and so forth. So we'll kind of go through various areas of some of these swing flaws and how we can ultimately do the right drills or do the right things to put us in a good situation to eliminate some of these flaws. One thing I hear a lot is about the bat dragging. Young kids, first thing you always want to check is just the size of the bat to start. You want to make sure he's using a bat that he can handle, a bat that I say generally you can hold out in front of you, and you should be able to hold that bat out in front of you for give yourself 10 or 15 seconds without the barrel dropping. Easy test for a young kid. Extend the arm, hold the barrel out. If you can't do that, generally you're not going to be able to hold it out long enough. It's going to start dragging back here and you're going to drop the barrel when you take your swing. So having the right bat is probably the most important part of the swing flaw of having the barrel drop, is the weight of the bat. As you get a little older, you have the right bat, everything's working, and you have that same swing flaw where the barrel drops. Again, we want to work on some drills that may help eliminate that issue. We may want to work on elevating the tee slightly, so that as we swing off the tee in those drills, we're able to stay on top of the baseball as opposed to hitting the bottom of the baseball in those drills. So again, maintaining control of the barrel is the key part to a hitter not dropping the barrel of the bat. Commonly asked question is, how long does it take for this issue to get fixed? It takes repetition. Like anything in the game, it's going to take practice. It's going to take teaching the body to make that constant move over and over again until that flaw is eliminated from the swing. One way to do this is to stay relaxed. When we get into swing flaws, a couple of things happen that are not beneficial to the player. One is panic, and that could be panic from a parent, panic from a coach, or the player panics himself and he's not relaxed and giving himself a chance to relax, to breathe, and to make the adjustment to allow the swing. So staying positive with players when they're adjusting to some swing flaws, a flaw such as this or any flaw that a player may have, is very important to understand, as a player must stay positive with himself. Positive feedback is huge. Negative feedback will generally continue to result in negative results from that specific swing flaw. Another common flaw I hear a lot is talking about just the head coming off the ball. You know, you always hear see the ball for young kids. Older kids, professional hitters, they tend to have spells where they'll do the same thing. Your eyes will gravitate to where you feel you're going to hit the ball, and it doesn't focus on trying to see the ball at contact. Whether you can actually see the bat off the ball is always a questionable thing, but what you can do is make sure your head stays down on contact. One good way to practice this is to hit the ball and be able to finish your swing and give yourself 1 or 2 seconds before you look up. When you're working in batting practice or when you're working in the batting cage, you'd like to make sure you focus on hitting the ball and keeping that head down longer to try to create that habit of keeping the head down. Another issue with the head is to make sure, again, that you have good vision to start. You'll see a lot of head movement at times for guys that don't have that vision really well, and as they start their swing, they're trying to get their head clear so they can see better. They end up pulling their head up, pulling off the baseball, creating some bad habits. So again, if we can get ourselves in a good position at the very beginning of that swing, having binocular vision, seeing with both eyes the pitcher, and then focus on drills that will allow me to keep my head down through contact. If I control my head, I'll generally be able to control my swing and stay in a good position. If my eyes raise, so will my body. That will cause some bad habits as well. So I want to make sure I focus on keeping the head down, keeping my head in a nice strong position throughout the swing. This commonly asked question applies to a lot of younger kids at times, where we talk about fear of getting hit or fear of the baseball. And there are many ways to discuss helping a player that has a little fear of the baseball, a fear of getting hit with the ball. First suggestion would be use some of the softer baseballs to start. Don't go directly to the hard ball. because if you get hit with the hard ball, it's going to add a little more fear. It's going to take a little bit more time for that player to adjust. So first thing is start off with the softer baseball when you're working with that player. Also, you hear a lot of coaches or parents, and sometimes we want our guy to stay in there and stay in a position to hit, and sometimes we'll say stay in there, and there's a fear of getting hit, so they're always going to want to shy away from the plate, shy away from the ball. I think what's important to start is allow them to stay as far back as possible, as far as they feel comfortable. And you can toss balls and throw balls, and they'll become a point where they're comfortable. That may start back here, and that's okay, and they may dive to the ball a little. But as they become more comfortable with, this ball's not going to hit me, this ball's further away from me, you should gradually see the player over time get a little closer to home plate and lose that fear. So instead of instructing us to get closer and stay in that spot, we should sometimes instruct them to maybe move a little further away, find their comfort zone, and then as they get comfortable, they'll slowly move a little closer to home plate. They'll be a little more comfortable, and they'll still love playing the game. Remember, the key to that is that we don't want to discourage a young player from playing the game because of fear. We want to help him through a positive avenue and encourage him to overcome that fear and help him to be able to overcome those things and play this game for a long time and hopefully at a professional level one day if that's your goal. These are just a few of the commonly asked questions. Hope it helps.